Have you ever sat alone at night wondering, why did they leave me? No closure, no reason, no explanation, just gone. You replay every conversation in your head, every moment. You think of all the times you were there for them, the laughs you shared, the late night talks, the sacrifices you made. And yet, despite everything, they walked away, as if none of it mattered. Here's the hardest truth to hear, but the most important one. When someone leaves you without a strong reason, it's not about you, it's about them. Let's break this down slowly and truthfully. 1. They left because they didn't know how to handle real love. You see, real love, the kind that shows up, stays, and grows, it scares people who've never experienced it or believe they don't deserve it. Maybe you were patient, honest, vulnerable. Maybe you communicated your feelings, your needs, your fears, and they didn't know what to do with that. For some, love means chaos, drama, games. And when someone comes along and offers them peace, they run. Why? Because peace feels unfamiliar, and people always retreat to what they know, even if it hurts them. So they disappear, not because of something you did, but because your love required them to grow, and they weren't ready for that kind of accountability. Chatur ar Safur 2. They were emotionally immature. Emotionally immature people struggle with discomfort. Conversations about feelings, accountability, effort, that's too much for them. So instead of facing challenges, they avoid them. Instead of saying, "This relationship is hard for me," they say, "Nothing." And here's the thing, their silence is not confusion, it's clarity. They knew leaving would hurt you, but they didn't have the courage to be honest. That silence, that's who they are. And it speaks louder than any excuse ever could. 3. You made them feel insecure in their own reflection. Your strength, your self-awareness, your depth, it forced them to confront themselves, and maybe, just maybe, they didn't like what they saw. You see, when you love someone deeply, it becomes a mirror. And people who haven't healed, who are still battling their own demons, they can't stand that reflection. Instead of rising with you, they chose to disappear from you. Not because you weren't enough, but because you were too real for their version of reality. 4. Some people leave because they take you for granted. This is the bitter truth. We teach people how to treat us. If you always made time, always forgave, always stayed, they started believing you'd never leave, that no matter how they treated you, you'd be there. So they didn't cherish you. They didn't appreciate your presence until you were gone, and suddenly your absence screamed louder than your presence ever did. Some people only learn the value of gold after they've thrown it away. Durai. 5. Maybe they thought they found better, but here's the catch. People chase novelty, the thrill of something new, and sometimes they leave chasing illusions, someone more exciting, more available, more fun. But what they often find isn't better. It's easier. Easier to manipulate, easier to impress, easier to take without giving. You see, someone replacing you doesn't mean you weren't worthy. It means they didn't recognize worth when it was in front of them. And here's the twist. They will think of you again. When the excitement fades, when they realize better was just temporary comfort. But by then, you'll have outgrown the version of yourself that needed their validation. 6. Painful goodbyes often save us from lifelong disrespect. Yes, it hurt. Yes, you deserved an explanation. But their silence, their leaving, was a gift in disguise. Because imagine spending your life with someone who didn't respect you enough to be honest. Sometimes, unanswered questions are better than painful truths that could have shattered you. Their absence is not your loss. It's your liberation. This is your turning point. You don't need them to come back. You don't need closure from them. You are the closure. The day they walked away is the day you start walking toward yourself, toward healing, toward self-respect, toward peace. And here's the most beautiful truth. The person who leaves without a word will one day wish they had stayed to hear yours. Let them go. Let the silence speak. Let your life shine so brightly that they can't help but notice what they lost, without you ever needing to say a word. If this message touched something inside you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let them know they are not alone. Hit the like button, subscribe to Bright Wisdom TV, and let's grow stronger together.